What's going on, everyone? Talon here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Okay, so as you can see, we have a lot of new uniforms here, so we're going to be looking at one of them in each video, of course, but for this video, we're going to be looking at Captain America's new uniform. So here we have his new Infinity War uniform. He has a similar uniform bonus as his other uniforms, where he does get that invincibility or the immune to all damage for 3 seconds. But it's now back to a 20-second cooldown. It was at a 20-second cooldown for kind of his oldest uniforms, because over here we have a 7-second cooldown, which is extremely nice, because then for 3 of those 7 seconds, you're going to be immune to all damage, which is really nice. But then if we go back 1, then we have that 20-second cooldown, but we also have 5 seconds of damage immunity with that 20 seconds, so it's even a little bit better in terms of the uniform bonus on the other ones. But as you can see here, we have 5 skill changes, and that's pretty much where this uniform is going to shine. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the skills here. So on his first skill, he does retain the 3 seconds of damage immunity, which is really nice. Second skill, we don't have anything on there. The third skill, well, I'm assuming these are in order. The third skill here, we have a decrease to enemies' defense by 20%, which is pretty nice for 3 seconds. And then we have an increase to our own defense by 20%, which is okay. It's nice to get that little boost right there, especially since Cap is a very tanky character. We don't have anything on that skill. And then for his 5th skill, we do have some ignore defense, which is a new buff for him, and also a 25% increase to all attack, and that is for 20 seconds, so that's definitely going to be active the entire fight. So it's pretty much as long as you remember to refresh it with the 5th skill here, you should be good, because with max skill cooldown, you're going to have a 6-second delay between using your 5th skill. So that's very nice. So he's going to see a huge damage boost with this uniform here, but something to note, it probably won't affect the gameplay too much, but being on a 6-second cooldown for the 5th skill, it does mean that his tier 2 passive will be down by only 1 second, because his tier 2 passive triggers whenever you use the 5th skill, and it lasts for 5 seconds. And with part of his tier 2 passive, it does give you super armor, so you will have 1 second where you will not have super armor. So I mean, in that 1 second, I guess you could get guard broken and it might make a difference, but overall, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. And with this tier 2 passive, it does activate immediately when you tap the skill, so you don't have to wait for the skill to like either start animating or even get through part of the animation. You will get that super armor immediately when tapping the 5th skill, so shouldn't affect the skill itself, so you shouldn't be able to get knocked out of your 5th skill because of the super armor issue. So now let's go ahead and look at the skill changes. So here's his first skill. We do have an instant iframe still, which is really nice, and it does give him, as you see, the 3 seconds of damage immunity. So very nice, and we have a few more hits on it. Got some delayed hits at the end there, so can run away a little bit while that happens. Then his second skill here, it starts with an iframe, and then it ends with an iframe, but it only starts with an iframe, I believe, if you are oh yeah, away from the enemy. So you have to be a little bit of distance between you and the enemy. So if I use it from over here, well, he targeted a different enemy over there. But as you can see, when he got within range, as soon as he did like that quick dash, he was in an iframe during that dash. So you can use that as kind of a way to, I don't know, cancel out one of the enemy's skills or something like that if you're a little bit of distance away, and then you get that iframe in the middle of the skill. So it's okay, but definitely a lot more hits than his previous second skill, so you're going to get a lot more damage out of that, so it's really nice. So far so good. Now let's move on to the third skill. Third skill, we get an instant iframe, and then boom, we get a lot of lingering damage there, so get multiple hits after the skill's done. Really like that. So very good for more AoE, kind of hitting multiple enemies, which he definitely did not have in any other versions of his uniform. He's always kind of a single target character, but now he's got more AoE and of course more DPS with all these additional hits. Now his 4th skill, pretty much just going to be for DPS if you are, I don't know what the targeting is doing, but as you can see, when you're a little ways away, again, you get that iframe while dashing towards the enemy, so you can kind of time that. But if you're close to the enemy, you will have no iframe at all in the 4th skill, but it looks like you will get a lot of DPS because of all of the hits and the lingering damage. Finally, we'll move on to the 5th skill. So go ahead and check this one out. It gives a nice camera angle change for you, which is really cool. So it shows the action shot right there. And then in his iframe after he does that leap. So while he's doing that leap, you are not in iframe. As soon as he hits the ground, you enter an iframe. And then you leave the iframe right before the skill finishes. So we'll be kind of vulnerable using this skill, but you can just chain it into like the first skill or something like that. Ooh, canceled a little too early. So you want to wait for that initial hit right there. Oh, keep canceling it too early. Come on. Okay, maybe you can't cancel that one out and still get all of the AoE. Interesting. Yeah, I guess you can't. But anyway, so those are his skill changes. So overall, they look very, very good. So I'm really liking Cap's new uniform here. It's going to change him from kind of a more defensive character to a really, really strong powerhouse, because I see this uniform upping his damage significantly. And he still will be quite tanky just because he relies more on his kind of like his defensive stats for a lot of his tankiness, even though the uniform bonus was a big part of it. So he probably will lose out on a little bit of survivability having that uniform bonus on a 20-second cooldown. But I still think with this uniform, you can't go wrong with this uniform. So definitely a strong uniform in my opinion. Very good for Cap, so worth picking up, especially if you're going to get him to tier 3. This uniform can be very valuable. But anyway, that's going to be my thoughts on Captain America's new uniform here. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.